All right, let's watch another one. These are only 20-minute episodes. They're easily digestible.
I don't know why I came to watch Turkin's surgery when I could have caught a few minutes of sleep. I guess I just haven't seen much of my best friend lately. Still, it's not like I'm desperate or anything.
Look, I've been attending for 3 years here. What makes you think you know better?
In my gut, I know I'm right.
We need to make this decision now.
Fine, then it's on you.
Yes, it is. Nurse, erasure.
Yes, doctor.
I try to discover a little something to make me sweeter. Oh, baby, refrain.
So the music in the OR is actually a really big deal. It's a really big deal. They obviously like are over dramatizing it in the scene, like to do humor, but like what music is playing during surgery is like, it's a big deal because everyone in the OR has to listen to whatever's on, and some of those surgeries can be multiple hours long, and you've got multiple nurses and techs and surgeons and residents and med students and all these people in the room, and it's like, who picks the music? Usually it's the main surgeon. They pick the music. And this is how serious one of the surgeons I worked with took it. So I was a med student. I was a third-year med student on my surgery rotation, and I did a bunch of general surgery, but then I did a couple weeks of specialty surgery rotations, and one of my weeks in specialty was cardiac surgery. It was intense shit. Like, I actually got to hold a human heart in my hand while they were like operating on it. And this one surgeon was playing Stevie Wonder in the operating room, and I'm like 23 years old or whatever, 24 years old. And I just said kind of offhand, I just said, oh, I love Stevie Wonder. He's one of my favorite artists of all time. And the surgeon thought that I was mocking him and sucking up to him at the same time. Like, just being a stupid med student. Like, how would this, 23-year-old med student like know what Stevie Wonder is, or however old I was. And he immediately got like confrontational with me about it. And he's like, you better not be lying and sucking up to me, med student. And he's talking to me like that. And I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I grew up with Stevie Wonder. I love Stevie. And I wasn't the best surgery student. I was just an okay surgery student. I ended up going into medicine, and he knew that I wasn't really that interested. So I think he thought I was just sucking up. And he told me, he said, all right, I'll make you a deal. I'm going to ask you a question about Stevie Wonder. If you get it right, I'll give you an A and I won't bother you anymore. But if you get it wrong, you're doing scut work for the rest of the week. And you got to work your ass off for your grade. So he asked me what his very first hit was and what year it was. I accepted the deal before I knew the question. And I knew the answer. And I was like, oh, fingertips. He was like 12 years old, and it was like 1961. And he looked at his jaw hit the floor. His jaw hit the floor, and he looked at me like he was pissed. He was actually like pissed that I got the answer right. And he wasn't like proud or impressed. He was like, we're checking this. We're Googling this after the surgery. And I was off by 1 year, just by 1 year. And he goes, technically you didn't get it right, but I can tell you weren't sucking up to me, so I'll give it to you. And he gave me an A. He gave me an A for my week with him.
I hate this song.
Me too, man. Me too.
What's up, Danny Barr? How are you? Yeah, dude, Erasure is awesome. There's some good boomer songs, dude. What's up, Jesse? How are you? How are you feeling, man?
It's weird, but a hospital room can actually be kind of a romantic
Oh,
place.
hydrate.
Maybe it's the
I missed
soft
the hydrate.
green glow of a heart monitor.
There's
or the way
there's
the
water in
moonlight
here, I
reflects off a
promise.
bedpan.
Our shifts keep overlapping on Friday nights.
It's the closest thing I've had to a date recently.
Well, I had a great time tonight.
Oh yeah, me too. So, can I page
Okay,
you?
Chai.
You better, and don't do the whole 2-day waiting thing.
Oh, baby, I don't play by the rules.
So, good night.
Wait a second, is she joking? Because if she's joking and I kiss her...
Oh, snap.
Of course, if she's not joking...
I love how his little fantasy ends in a threesome. Come on.
Come on, I don't do this for all the doctors.
Yes!
Look, this guy's gonna need
Yeah,
40
TOS,
NDQs at
report
KCL,
me.
and go ahead and grab me when you get the results.
You got it.
I'm doing all right,
And
Jesse.
his TV is broken, so when you two do start tagging each other, least you can do is wake him up and let him watch.
I had a
In my
rough week. I'm
experience,
just
when
trying to
two
relax
friends
and
miss an
chill.
opportunity like this, you've got exactly 48 hours to get the kiss. Otherwise, one of you's gonna overthink it. Okay, she's gonna overthink it, and then you end up permanently stuck in the
I
friend
moved all
zone.
my old stuff out of my
see ya.
house. My ex and I
You're such a
finalized
girl.
our divorce and sold our house. So
So nothing was going on.
it's kind of bittersweet. It's like
Good thing you still have your
moving
flower.
forward with my life, but it's still it's emotionally hard.
I'm just a little lonely, you know. I guess because I haven't really been hanging out with Turk since he's been dating Carla.
First of all,
I found an old
who's
coffee
Turk?
mug
And
that I
don't
hadn't used
answer.
hardly at
Look,
all.
if you have a medical
when I
question
moved.
for me, I'm forced by hospital policy to answer you. However, if you ask me about a personal problem, I'm going to start doing this.
You seem unhappy. I like that.
I try to discover a little something to make me sweeter. Oh, baby, refrain. I cannot get that stupid song out of my head.
So
like a damn
JD
virus.
being tempted to ask his attending for personal advice is actually pretty realistic. Like, he was way out of bounds going to his house, but the thing is, you're in the hospital so much, and like, well, technically you're supposed to only work 80 hours a week, but everybody works more than that. Most people work more than 80 and kind of fudge their hours. Or you're doing a lot of work that maybe you're not technically in the hospital, but you do it at home because you can do it remotely now. So, you know, you're pulling 90, 100-hour weeks sometimes. And that's who you're around to talk to. And, like, that's the person who's, like, older and more mature than you in your immediate vicinity. And they also get the stress you're going through. And so sometimes you do get personal advice from your attendings. I mean, it's always best to not really mix personal and professional if you can, but like I definitely had to discuss some of that stuff with my higher ups because I struggled with depression and when I was a resident, big time. So but Dr. Cox's reaction, you know, he's Dr. Cox, he has to do that.
Okay, here's his chart. His transfer note, he's hemodynamically stable. Consider him officially turned to medicine.
T-Man, I'm gonna get my grub on.
Means he's gonna go.
Yeah, Doc Fox is what we call our Discord server.
So surgery went okay?
It's like bird themed.
Dude, I got to close for the first time ever. Ever. The human body is so disgusting.
The mods are called the bald
Oh,
eagle
not yours. Yours
enforcers.
is stunning.
The VIP or
We
the
should go out and
peacocks.
celebrate, you know, tear
We
it
have-
up
we have
like
fun
we
with it.
used
It's-
to,
it's
just the
lighthearted.
two of us.
What comes before part B?
Dude, 80 hours sucks.
We need to tear it up.
I've never watched My Name Is Earl. But yeah,
We should
dude,
probably never do that again.
if you work a true 80-hour week, you don't have time for almost anything else. Like, a lot of people will say, oh, I work so many hours. I work 60 hours. I work 70 hours. I work 80 hours. But they're counting, like, the time from the time they get up from the time they to the time they get home as, like, their work hours. We're talking 80 hours clocked in the hospital, not including commuting, not including when you get up, you know, not including lunchtime, not including like work, like a real 80 hours. So let's say you work 6 days a week and you get 1 day off a week. average, which is about what you do in residency. To get to 80 hours clocked in the hospital, you would have to work over 13 hours every single day, 6 hours a day, just from the minute you walk into the hospital to the minute you walk out. So that would be like from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., take away an hour for like lunch. That'd be 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. just being in the hospital. So that's not including waking up for, an hour and a half before work, commuting back home, etc. So like you probably wake up 5 in the morning, 4:30, 5 in the morning, and you get home like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. What the fuck are you going to do? You're going to like eat and go to sleep. And that's like all the time you have, 6 days a week. You really don't have time for a life. It is rough.
The song's like a virus.
Oh, baby, please. Give her a wrestling suit. Oh,
Don't let it be awkward. Do something cute. Cover her eyes and say, "Guess who?" Guess who?
I can't breathe.
Okay.
There is a lot of
yeah,
dating
it's
between
time for
residents,
round.
partially
Let's
because of what I
see
just said.
who's the weakest link.
Your whole life is just you live in the hospital and that's all you see. You don't have time to go out and like date socially outside of the hospital very much. So you date people who work in the hospital.
Here we go. Now then, Dr. Simotis.
There's gonna be a-
severe swelling of the lips exhibited by this patient might be an indication of what?
Angioedema.
Well done, sport. And what treatment would you recommend, Dr. Dorian?
Combination of steroids and any of several antihistamines.
Attaboy, sport. Now then, what would you recommend the patient stay away from, Dr. Reed?
My first guess would be shellfish.
Right you are, sweetheart.
I could kind of see what was going on in Elliot's head.
Right you are, sweetheart.
So also another like very important issue. Like it's clearly this is still today. This show is like what 15, 20 years old. And we're this is still an issue today. Like we have, a governor of New York who's being accused of doing that exact same stuff by like 6 different women, right? Men in power abuse it by flirting with women and treating them condescendingly, etc. And especially when this show was made, was a huge problem in medicine because although nowadays medical schools and residencies are like 51% women, it didn't used to be that way. It used to be almost 100% men. It was a men's club. It was a boys' club. And so the older generation of doctors was almost all men. And there was a lot of sexism. And so that's kind of phased out slowly over time. But like, I tell this story a lot, like just this perfect snapshot of how medicine used to be a boys' club. And they didn't let women into medical school. They didn't train women to be doctors. I was in a very female-dominated field for 8 weeks, a rotation, OBGYN. And so, delivering babies, doing female checks, etc. And it's like 80 to 85% women now, that field. And it draws the interest of women because it's women's care. And there's this room full of these young female trainees, all like 25 to 35 years old, all there to be trained, and there's like a few smattering of male trainees in the crowd, and then the entire stage of professors who were there to run the conference, except for one, were men. They were all old men. And it just really painted a picture, like like now, or even like 10, 15 years from then, like that was all going to change. All those women who are out in the crowd as the trainees are going to eventually be the ones running the show up in front. But we still hadn't quite gotten past all the older generation where it was a boys' club and it was all men in medicine. That's why there's the
What do you wanna
stereotype
watch?
of like, if you're a woman in the hospital,
Fletch?
you're a nurse.
Fletch it is.
They just
Seen
assume
it.
you're a nurse and not a doctor.
Well, you haven't seen it with us saying all the lines.
I'm so lucky I met you.
Maybe next time her mom could come.
Dude, you won't even know she's here.
The spank, yes.
Except she laughs at stupid stuff sometimes, and that kind of makes me laugh.
Dr. Dean's teacher. Hell no, dude.
Because it's such... Oh, come on. Tonight's still about us.
Whatever, I don't care.
Turk, you want to go hang out in your room?
Oh man, that has nothing to do with medicine.
On the one hand, I know
We've all
Dr.
been
Kelsey
there.
doesn't mean anything by it.
Your
and-
friend meets a
okay,
girlfriend
maybe
or
I am
boyfriend,
kind of a
they just
sweetheart.
disappear.
sleeping?
On the other hand, it just sounds so demeaning, you know?
Mother of God, you're not listening to a word I'm saying, are you?
It's not like he's my grandpa or anything. Anyway, JD always tells me how much you've helped him out.
There's a
Obviously
blizzard
hasn't told
coming
about
for
my
you,
ear
Jinxie?
flicking policy, has he?
Look, this whole groovy guidance counselor thing you people seem to have working is a total fantasy. I'm not that guy. You can go and ask anybody. Now, you've got to leave me alone, or I'll punish you.
I guess sweetheart is kind of innocuous.
Okay. Here's what you're gonna do. Go right down there and confront Kelso.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Never mind that he is the chief of medicine for the entire hospital. He'll have a whole new level of respect for you.
Honestly?
Yes, you can't have sexist terms like that floating around here. You go get him.
Okay, so sexual assault. You don't wake up someone who's sleeping in the lounge just trying desperately to get a little bit of shut-eye on an overnight shift to talk about a personal matter like that. Like, the only time you would ever wake somebody up who's crashed out on the lounge couch is if you needed help with a medical urgency or emergency, you know? And if it was an emergency, like, people are getting paged, there's overhead shit going on. But if you have, like, an urgent problem that hasn't quite reached that level yet, yeah, you could wake someone up, ask for help. But she should never be trying to wake up anyone, especially the attending, from the, you know, they're crashed out on the couch for a personal problem. But yeah, he sexually assaulted her right there.
Okay, this guy looks stable, but I still want
Cox
to get
is
an
definitely a
EKG.
dick.
Let's do
He's
cardiac
the-
enzymes and
He's the asshole with a heart of gold, though.
and an aspirin. A lot of my work has become second
He
nature
gives,
to
like,
me.
the good
The
pep
only
talks
problem
and
is that
stuff.
it gives me too much time to think.
Look, man, I'm surgery and you're medicine. This isn't college anymore. Things have to change.
Well, I know relationships
Yes, we're watching
change. I guess
Scrubs,
I just
Jesse.
thought yours and mine never would.
What's going on with you, man?
Well, we always just look out for each other. I guess I just don't feel like you have my back anymore.
You really feel that way?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Great. I'll get him from my locker. You can just write me a check. And can you take a look at Mr. Bidwell? His temperature's starting to spike.
Sure.
Are they trying to?
There's a huge difference.
Are they trying to show him
When you stitch a
hallucinating
patient,
because he's
wind up sewing a
underslept?
sheet to him. That's an accident. When he tries getting up, the whole gurney collapses, breaking his front teeth. That's a lawsuit. Say it with me. Accident lawsuit.
Accident lawsuit.
So, what is it, sweetheart?
I love the lawyer.
It's that. It's the sweetheart thing. It just doesn't hit me right. I'm a doctor, and it seems sort of disrespectful.
Oh, I've always called the young men sport and the young ladies sweetheart.
But you call Becky sport.
Well, I am so sorry, sport. It must be one of those bad habits I've developed after working in the medical field for over 30 years.
The real dick is the chief.
30 years.
Forgot it. What is his name
But
again?
you look so young.
Kelso.
It's never easy to see a patient that's getting worse instead of better. In fact, that's kind of the opposite of what we're going for. I don't get it. He was fine last night. Now he's diaphoretic. He's in and out of consciousness.
70 degrees
He
and
might
it's
even
gonna
be
snow on
septic.
Tuesday.
Well, we won't know anything until the lab gets his blood work back.
If he's septic, there's a chance they'll have to reopen this guy. Of course, there's also a chance he could die.
I've seen this before. Gauze, sponges. Some young surgeon left something in this man.
No, I know the guy that closed. He'd never be that careless.
Okay, excuse me, sorry.
It
Has
is
anyone seen
possible
my
what the nurse
keys?
just said.
No?
It does happen.
Okay, how about my
sometimes.
wallet?
It's rare, but it does
Anyone?
happen. That's a good scene.
Never seen that before.
I mean, working in the medical field isn't always tough. It depends on what you do. I mean, they're showing residency, which is the hardest part of becoming a medical doctor by far, is your training, because they work you so hard. That's how you learn all the stuff I mean, the thing is, like, it's easy to complain about, right? Like, oh my God, I work 80 hours a week. Sometimes I have to work 30 hours at a time. Sometimes this is insane. I have no life. But by the time you're done, in only 3 or 4 years, you've gotten like 10 to 15,000 hours on the job. I mean, it's irreplaceable, all that experience. And so then when you finally get into your own practice and you don't have someone above you holding your hand and making sure you're doing everything right, you've done stuff for thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, repetition. You've seen almost everything you can possibly see, only because you spent so much time in the hospital. The other thing is, you have to spend a lot of time in consecutive hours in the hospital to really learn everything, because you're seeing things evolve. So when you see that person come in from the emergency room, or you see them come in for their surgery, and then you just leave after, 8 hours, you don't see how they're progressing live that whole time. So like seeing something progress for 30 hours, especially something really acute, is also part of your training. Because if you like take care of someone who's really sick and you start getting them stable, you start getting them on the mend, and then you just like take 2 days off after you've been there for 8 hours, you miss everything that happens after that. So you have to spend all that time in there. That's how you learn. And then once you get out of residency, you don't have to work 90-hour weeks like that. You can work a regular job. You can work regular hours for most fields if you really want to. A lot of doctors don't, because boku bucks. If you work 60 hours a week as a cardiologist, you get paid a ton of money. If you work 30 hours a week as a general practitioner, you make way less. So, but you can do that. I know people who do it. They work part-time. A lot of women do it when they have kids. They'll like work 20 hours a week, do a practice share with somebody, work half time with another person and share the patients. And they take a pay cut, and even working half time as a doctor, you still can make $100,000 a year. I mean, you don't have to be working your butt off. It's just it's a cliche, because that's what the shows always show you. And they mainly show like the really hardcore like surgery professions where you have to be on call. You're the only one of like 3 people who can do certain surgeries in the hospital, so you don't get days off very much. Or residency training, where you have to work 80 and 90 hours a week and work 30-hour calls and stuff to learn. So,
oh baby,
and being a nurse, you can have a nice schedule being a nurse.
give a little respect.
A lot of nurses work 312s. That's a great schedule. I used to do 312s as a nurse aide. It's stressful while you're there, but
Turk?
then you're off.
Oh, Dr. Cox, have you seen Turk? Ow!
He looks 37. Dr. Kelso looks 37 to you? He looks like he's like 60 to me.
Turk?
Hey, I was just dreaming about you.
Uh-oh.
We were.
Call room shenanigans.
Hey, you got a few minutes?
Don't move.
Oh, he's an idiot.
No, don't move.
He's an idiot.
Have you seen Turk?
Yeah, I saw him. He just went out that door.
Should have sat by her. Should have stayed in the call room.
Oh.
By the way, that mistake sound clip comes from this show. There's an episode where in his fantasy sequences,
What?
an opera singer follows him around and sings Mistake every time he messes up.
Well,
That's where I got that
your
clip.
arrhythmia is much better. Everything looks just great, actually.
You sound surprised.
Well, okay, it has nothing to do with you, but I had a little run-in with Dr.
Yeah, that's
Kelso
a GG.
yesterday, so when he switched me over
He
to
done
you, I
fucked
just
up.
thought it'd be a difficult case.
Go on, I'm listening.
Excuse me while I go check on another penis. A patient. Well, he's a penis patient.
Patients do that. Patients are inappropriate sometimes. I had a woman get naked in front of me when I was a nurse's aide, and there was absolutely no need for it at all. None, absolutely none. And I went and told the charge nurse immediately. I was like, I need to tell you what just happened. Like, she just disrobed in front of me, and it felt wrong, felt uncomfortable. And she said, oh yeah, that lady has tried to sue the hospital like 5 times and claims like staff harassment and stuff like that. And so she was trying to fuck with me, actually. But male patients will do it usually to harass female providers. So I actually had a male patient that I inherited from a female provider, because every time he came in for a visit with her, he would find some excuse to get a penile exam. He would complain about something on his penis so that she would have to examine it. And after like doing that like 3 times, she realized he didn't have anything wrong with his penis at all. He was just making up this stuff so that she would have to examine his dick. And she confronted him about it, and he was inappropriate with her in his response. And so they said they put a flag in his chart that he no longer is allowed to have female providers. And then he ended up coming to see me. Well, guess what? He never had any penile complaints when he came to my visits. Yeah, messed up, right?
No. Look, it's 9 up, okay? We just lost our 4th. It's your boy.
It's very important I talk to you now.
This is not a joke either. This is real, man. It's just surgical versus medical. Your boy, your shirts. Come on, let's go.
Let's play.
And there it was. Everything was more important than me now.
Don't bring in the same weak-ass crap the last kid did.
Suddenly, I was so fed up, I decided to teach Turk and
I wish we
Todd
had a
little
basketball
lesson
hoop
right there on
outside
the
of my training hospital. That would have been fun.
You know, once I warm up a little.
All good. Ouch. JD, I'm gonna show you what the deal.
We had an exercise, like weight training, little room, but no basketball hoop.
All right, that's game. What's so important?
Okay. I was looking at Bidwell.
1 second.
You found out you were
I gotta go.
related to
But
your
you played a good
specialist?
game. You played a good game.
I thought you sucked. Go get your grub on.
Yeah, give a little respect to the top. Hey, baby, what's up?
Yeah, there's no way he would go into the hospital shirtless like that. It's totally unprofessional.
Yes?
Sorry to bother you. Sorry.
Well, if it isn't sport. How are things? Did you see Mr. Kavanaugh today?
Yes.
Did it cause any problems with them being your doctor? Zero Venom?
Yes,
Sometimes
I
those
did.
kind of relations can
Dr.
be like,
Kelso, I
well,
just
maybe I
wanted
shouldn't
to
be your
say that,
doctor. Too
As far as
close.
the whole sweetheart thing goes, maybe I overreacted.
Are you sure? Because I wouldn't want you to be the least bit uncomfortable.
To tell you the truth, I have no idea what possessed me to say anything in the first place.
You've got to leave me alone, or I'll punish you.
Yeah, absolutely no idea.
Super. Then run long, sweetheart.
Oh, shots fired.
I tried to discover a little something to make me sweeter.
Oh, baby, refrain from breaking my heart. I'm so in love.
Have you seen Mr. Bidwell's blood work?
No, it hasn't come back yet.
Okay. Have you seen Turk?
Not since this morning.
Well, I'm sure you'll end up seeing him before I do, so...
Bambi,
Oh,
are
he
you
jealous.
giving me attitude?
What if I am?
Sweetie, you have to be a minority sidekick in a bad movie to pull that off. You know what I'm
I
talking
love
about,
Carly.
right?
Oh, child, please. You speak the truth.
Explain it to this man, please. First, you do the head, then you do the finger, then you talk through the nose, and then you give a lot of attitude. That's how it works. But if you're not from there, you don't understand, so I'm not gonna even ask you.
Okay, I'm gonna leave now.
What? Oh, No, you didn't. Where you going? Where you going?
Okay. Yeah. You know, do you eat the hospital food? So I mean, I can only answer for like my residency experience. I know a lot of residency programs do this, but because they know you're so busy and you spend like almost your whole life in the hospital, my hospital gave us a meal plan. So like there was a cafeteria, and then on our employee card, like part of our benefits were we got like a certain amount of money per shift on our card, and we could just swipe it at the cafeteria and get food. And that was to try to help simplify our lives. So we just had one less thing to think about. And another thing is when you're on call and stuff and you're in residency, like you may be bouncing all over the hospital, especially if you're on the wards and you're in a big hospital, and you're not necessarily like right by where you kept your food for the night. They don't always have the best like break room facilities and whatever for like heating up your own food, and you're sort of like this lost mercenary sometimes as a resident. So like having a meal card, you can just go to the cafeteria anytime you want, get some snacks, get hot food, was really nice. It was really nice. Even though, you know, cafeteria food's not the greatest. When you're hungry and you've been up for 24 hours, it doesn't fucking matter. Like you'll eat whatever. What's up, Patty? How are you, buddy?
Oh, baby, give a little respect to me.
Dude, the lawyer can sing.
Thank you very much.
He's got that high falsetto.
Hi, how are you? I have a quick legal question. I'm just curious. What if, hypothetically...
Oh, God, you killed somebody.
No!
Someone else did.
No one killed anyone.
Maimed, mutilated, disfigured. Let's not split hairs.
No, I'm not even sure there is a problem. You know, I'm running tests. I'm doing everything that I should be doing.
gosh.
Look, if you know about something, by not reporting it, you're every bit as culpable now. Is there anything you want to tell me?
Why am I protecting Turk when he can't even give me 5 seconds of his time?
Anything at all?
Tell him. No.
Oh, scared the hell out of me.
That poor lawyer. Oh my god.
Dr. Cox,
I'm hoping for your sake there's another Dr. Cox sitting right behind me.
I feel stupid, but sending me to Kelso like that, well, I'm not sure exactly what you were trying to teach me.
The value, and this is important, of leaving me alone.
I think we both know there's a little more to it than that.
No, there's not. Look, I want you to go ahead and spread the word, Missy. I've had enough. The next whiny intern that comes in here looking to me for a cookie and a hug, I swear to Aisha, I'm going to hurt them. And you neurotic one-woman freak show, take your blah-blah to the blah-blahologist.
The
Because if you're
blah-blahologist.
so stupid as to confront the chief of medicine over some quasi-offensive endearment, then you've just got to go ahead and replace the captain of your brain ship because he's drunk at the wheel.
You're right. I need to learn to pick my battles. Thank you, sir.
The blah-blahologist. I'm doing all right, Patty. I had a stressful week.
You say your husband hardly wore
Just
them.
trying to chill and relax, hang out,
Fantastic.
be social.
Oh, and the blood work came back.
You guys been dating for 3.5 months? Congrats, dude.
Negative? How could they be negative? The guy looks like death.
Hi.
What happened?
There's no infection. He's diabetic, so when someone gave him insulin during post-op, when he wasn't eating, he became hypoglycemic.
Oh, that's funny, because the only person who could have given him insulin... Uh-oh. Me. Fucked up. I gave him insulin. Twice.
Oh, he's fine, Bambi. I gave him an amp of D50, and he's eating now. But you should probably give him a glass of orange juice in about an hour.
Carla, thank you so much. You totally saved my ass.
No, it wasn't me.
Okay, this is funny. So
Look,
like Turk
Turk.
is the one who saved his butt on this.
I always got your back.
So the reason this is funny to me is, where I trained in medical school, we had this service called the medical consult. Pardon me, the medical consult service, and basically it was general medicine doctors taking consults from psychiatry, from surgery, when they had patients that had like medical problems separate from what they were there for surgery for, separate from what their mental health conditions were in the hospital. They would call us to help manage the medical conditions. So like somebody has diabetes and they're there for surgery, they would consult the medicine team to like manage their diabetes around surgery, because the surgeons wanted to focus more on the surgery and the post-surgery care, and then have someone who's more experienced taking care of the diabetes do that part. And this is actually a really common mistake that gets made in the hospital, is managing insulin around surgery. People are still taking their home medications for their diabetes. Maybe they're taking pills for it, and then they don't eat anything. They don't eat anything. They're not allowed to eat anything before and after surgery for a certain amount of time, and then their blood sugars just crash. And so it's like medicine 101. You stop all their home medications, you stop their home doses, you watch their sugars very closely while they're in the hospital, and you dose them appropriately according to what their sugars are. And JD messed up. So that actually was really accurate medicine. But the role reversal here of the surgeon saving JD from messing up the insulin management is kind of comical to me as a doctor.
I know.
Usually it's almost always the other way around.
Just tell him how you feel without sounding like a girl for once. I miss you so much it hurts sometimes.
Okay, you've had a rough day, so I'm gonna let that go for now. We're gonna find time to hang, man. It's just that we're both really swamped right now, and I'm hanging out with Carla a lot, I know, but tell me, if there was someone you were into, you wouldn't be doing the same thing.
Oh, crap.
Did Nurse Robert tell you these?
The doctor will see you now. Oh my god. Aw, thank you for the follow, Mr. Lagoma. Thank you, I appreciate you. He's gotta make it. The 48-hour timer is running out.
You don't even want to hear about the day I've had.
You're right. Kiss me.
Right now?
We can wait like 3-4 seconds.
But
They are their bowling shoes.
Gross.
Not gross. Pretty. Come here.
She's selling her ex-husband's bowling shoes to anyone who'll buy them.
JD, can we just talk for a second?
Oh.
It never fails.
Friend zoned. I love this. This is so accurate, just socially in general.
Went to high school with her. We worked at Penguin's Yogurt.
She'll come around.
Nice.
Pretzel?
Thank you.
The first few weeks here have been so hard for me. Mentally, physically, emotionally. It's like math camp all over again. Not that I've ever been to math camp, it's just an expression.
I use it all the time. Come on.
Anyway.
I know the idea of choosing friendship over sex seems like the last thing any guy wants to hear. But you know what? This time it actually made sense to me. Besides, I challenge anyone to survive being an intern without having a close group of friends to lean on. I can't believe you lost our bottle opener.
Yeah, I know. I miss it so much it hurts sometimes.
You're a bad person.
Well played, Turk.
Don't judge me.
TOS, TOS, TOS. Is that me? Me in 30 years? That's me right now, obviously. I work out. There's those weights behind me are 1,000. They're 1,000. I love that show. Yeah, so there is a lot of in dating that happens in residency. Number of like my resident colleagues ended up getting married. So, because it's like that's who you see all the time, and a lot of doctors get married later in life because they're just so hyper focused on their training and education that they don't really have time to date, or they're dating and or married and they suffer in their relationships and they break up, divorce. There's a really high breakup and divorce rate in medical school and residency. It's very, very high. It's like there's places that keep track of it, and the estimate for residency having breakups, it's like 80% of relationships in residency that you come into will break up. So it's huge. It's kind of ridiculous. Any thoughts? Any questions on the episode?